Hello and welcome once again to my layout, New Junction. Today you join myself and Lulu here at the layout because the fiddle yard boards are almost completed, ready for track, and I get out my longest train. Isn't that impressive, Lulu? Yes, yes it is, yes it is, yes it is. You're not interested. And here we are. As you can see, I wasn't joking. I have got my Scale Mark V sleeper set out in its full 16-car glory, along with the 92, because this is easily my longest train, and one of the trains that was the reason for making the layout modular and able to be set up this large. So in total, this train measures almost 17 feet in length, which I'm sure could be beaten with various freight trains and things, but as my layout will be passenger heavy with 91s, etc., this is the longest one. I think followed currently by 91s, which are sort of 11 foot long, which is crazy when you think about it. But it's quite fun having this full set out for the first time and shunting back and forth a foot at a time, because that's the only space it's got. It literally is almost end to end on a side. But it's really nice and refreshing to have a full-length train on the layout. Which does raise the question, why is it out? Well, because the fiddle yard boards, which I'll go over in a second behind me, are nearing completion, and track has been ordered and is on the way, I thought get it out because we need to start sizing up for the sidings to make sure there's enough room for the various trains on the layout, because after all, there's no point doing all this if my own trains don't fit in the sidings I then create. Right, that being said, let's go and have a look at the fiddle yard. So as you can see, North has done a very grand job here on the fiddle yard boards. Now, for temporary boards, i.e. they're not exhibition ready per se, which they could be moved to an exhibition, they are extremely sturdy. These are solidly built. All they need now is just to be screwed in to either end and lined up, and away you go. And in the end, I can't remember if I said before, we went for the 2 foot wide boards because of the potential it offers with a bit of scenery and the various lanes I'll need to put stock or store stock. Bearing in mind we put the rest of the layout up as a giant sort of U shape, the layout was ever so slightly out by probably an inch. It just needed to squeeze in a bit, but no, once these are screwed in place, we're laughing. And I just need a bit of plywood for the bottom to act as shelving to store all of my train boxes, which will be plenty because there is a lot of room down there. Right, it's not quite finished though. This isn't the finished article. This is the mainline area sorted. But as I mentioned, the heritage line is going underneath, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that next. So as I mentioned in the previous update, the heritage line will no longer run underneath the mainline boards this time around. They'll actually run just in front because storage isn't such an option or such a necessity for the heritage line. So what we've come up with and deduced from the scrap pieces of wood from the main construction are these sort of L-shaped pieces which are screwed and glued together, and they will go underneath and they'll be screwed in, glued in, and they will provide a frontal sort of support for the 4 inches of plywood that I've got just to go on the front. So there'll be something like this, but in the front of the on the front of the layout. Now, I know what you're thinking. That is quite a drop straight onto a concrete floor. But we're not anything there. I've actually ordered some very cheap plastic strips to go along not only this edge, but also the edges of the rest of the layout baseboards. And what that'll do is actually, not only will it stop trains that derail plunge to their deaths on the concrete floor, but they will also act as some form of bracing in between the supports. So this isn't the easiest thing to demonstrate by myself, but there will be something like that. So as you can see, it'll be fairly sturdy, fairly secure, out the way enough that hopefully we won't be knocking them and bashing them, particularly when the front fascias come on the bracing. And as I said previously, very flukily, it's exactly the right height for the heritage line running round the main scenic side. But we do have to make some changes to the end boards, and I'll show you them next. So as you can see, I've warped from that side of the layout to this side, and I want to show you underneath this board, which is where the main line will go. So I'll lift this off, try not to get myself a splinter, and as you can see, hopefully, that here is where the original curve would have gone on the old layout. This piece was actually touching the garage door in the old layout, so it was the non-scenic edge, one of them. So all I need to do, roughly measure this distance, circular saw it off, bring it in, and then all being well, it'll allow the edge of this board to then be relative to the new line going up the fiddle yard. So all very simple. I just need to put it together and do it. Oh, and in case you're wondering why I'm not doing it in this video as normal, it's because I don't use power tools while Lulu is in the building, because she's a bit old to these kind of things and just likes the relaxing lifestyle these days. Don't you? Yes. Yes. Fame weighs heavy on you, doesn't it? Poor thing. While I'm coming up this end of the layout again, I have to show you this. This is one of the final production samples of the all-new Acura scale Class 50. Now this is 50017 Royal Oak. Now some of you will recognise this from the Great Central Railway, so naturally, I had to borrow this one for photos on the layout, because why not? Now, this particular sample doesn't run yet, so it's just here posed in all its toothpaste livery glory. But wow, I've been looking forward to this. I look forward to any locos based at the Great Central because, well, it's just fun to have something to collect that's a bit different. So it's nice. So when the other half has said, "What have you been doing tonight?" and I say, "Oh, I've just been having a play with the Hoover, run round with the Hoover." Keeps her happy and keeps me happy as well. So no, a few more tweaks with these, I think, but I believe they're well underway and on their way. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to these. Do let me know down below in the comments if there's any new announcements or new locos coming which you're looking forward to. It's always good to get excited about something in the hobby, because after all, that's what it's all about. Enjoyment. So admittedly, a lot of the focus over the last few weeks has been getting the layout here, getting all the stock moved with it, all the bits and bobs and all the sort of bric-a-brac that's been underneath the layout and on the shelves in the garage here. And of course, the priority absolutely is getting the fiddle yard boards done as and when we can, so I can get trains running and ultimately then continue with the layout build. So in between North's visits, who's helping me build those, I have started to do or work on layout jobs. As you saw last week, it was the turn of the first signal, which is up the other end by the tunnel, with a few more on their way. I've been getting on with various jobs, such as the wiring underneath. A lot of it's needed changing or replugging in, and I'll go into that in more detail later on. All the excitements. But no, the main focus for me is I have been thinking about what I can do and sort of really get stuck into once the baseboards are in and done. Because being quite blunt, I can get track as and when I sort of save up for it. So I've got a couple of boxes to start off with various loops, but it won't all be here in one go because it adds up quite quickly, as you will know with your own layouts. So saving is required, but I will keep myself busy with projects on the layout. So what do I mean by that? So a glaring one is the station. Now we know I have the Thirsk station building, and of course I've got the platforms already, which are based on Thirsk. And this, I think, just adds a bit of interest to this scene rather than it just being 4 straight main lines. A reason to stop and start, a reason to go around a stop train. But I think it's time we got on with it. So in the garage, this side, this platform was never here, or this side of track underneath, as you can see, they're not screwed in yet, but these were never here because it was difficult to get to them, and it was always the last job on the list. So these are going in as well. We've cut them down. I can't get that back in now, but yeah, so I'm going to be getting on with this. I need to sleeper space the track and then get my spacer out. And funnily enough, while I was doing this, I noticed having, it was a different coach at the time, but a coach in the station, that my platforms, which to my eye, looking down on it, look fine, but then when you crouch down, they're actually perfectly level with the steps on the trains. Now, in real life, people have been arguing for that for years, for there to be no gap and be the same height as the steps on the coaches. But in reality, it's ever so slightly lower. And I've discovered, rookie error, that because the platforms were designed properly to be the right height, but I put them on cork, didn't I? So I've got to lift the platforms, hopefully in one piece, which is a good excuse to take the cork from underneath them out and also varnish them ready for painting up to go with the station. So we've got a process there, and that'll be obviously its own video where we'll put the track in, get the station up, we'll start painting it, doing the buildings, adding the details, and really, hopefully, bringing the scene down. That leads me to a question for the group. What do I do with the heritage line? So in the garage, the plan was always to have a station somewhere here. I'm leaning towards it's getting very cluttered, very crowded, because I've got obviously this station here, which will need some form of access bridge. In real life, Thirsk has a public walkway that goes up and then joins road height, so that could be that option. But with this board out here, it's very close to the heritage line, and I think another station would probably overcrowd the area. I could have one further down in this space, but same again. So yeah, I'm really sort of toying with what to do. Also, my road that's by the signal box, annoyingly, doesn't really fit anymore. So that needs somewhere to go, and it either comes across the track and down the front and away, or goes underneath a bit early. So, food for thought. So there's lots of questions there. So I'd be more than happy to hear your suggestions down below in the comments of what you'd do. Because at the moment, I feel a bit like a rabbit in headlights, almost. There's lots of things and lots of decisions where I know where I can crack on in the short term, i.e. getting on with the main station. But yeah, what do I do with the heritage line and the various scenery around it? Because the scenery part is something I can put together very quickly. So very quickly, I could have this scenescaped and grassed and whatever else. It's just which direction do I go in? Food for thought, definitely. And there we go. As you can see, with a bit of track, the layout shouldn't be far off having trains running. And I'm quite excited, and I know Lulu's quite excited about bringing you trains running at long last. So, as ever, I want to say a big thank you very much for watching. If you're new around here, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to never miss an update video. And a big thank you, as always, to the channel patrons and YouTube members. Hopefully you're enjoying all the behind-the-scenes content, videos, pictures, etc., etc. Right, if you're watching this as it comes out, so the first Sunday after this video, I will be at the Doncaster Model Railway Show, and I'll be on the Tony's train stand giving Tony a hand, so do come and say hello. If you're watching after then, you've missed it, but I'll be at plenty of other shows going forward. So all that's left for me to say, thank you very much for watching, ta-ta, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now. How was that? Was that alright, Lulu? Was that alright? You want me to do it again? Oh, you want me to do it again? You want me to do it again? Yeah. You want me to do it again? You want to do it? You want to do it? Go on then, let's go play with the ball.